How are we all doing? COVID's been tough on everybody, to be honest. I'm doing this from home, and you guys probably have known this. I appeared in Ben's most recent Bat Rap, and while I still love Song of Ice and Fire as a game, fantastic game, and with the recent changes to the 2021 rule set, I have been involved with the games with Ben, Victor, Defeng, and the rest. It's just that I haven't been videoing much because those bad reps takes a long time to do. Takes me on average about 3 hours to produce one, and that doesn't include shooting as well. But nonetheless, I thought I'd use the channel really as a platform to show progress on a different game I'm actually involved with. Ben started Blitz Beneath as a store. They brought in a new game called Conquest, and initially I was sitting on the sidelines for quite a long time, only because the faction that I really liked, which was the 100 Kingdoms, while they appealed to me, a lot of people had them. So basically everybody were collecting 100 Kingdoms and Spires. The Nords came out after that, and I thought, that's another good looking army. Almost got into it, and then Ben whispered in my ear, said, look, there are orcs on the horizon, and they're riding dinosaurs. So I went full pelt into it, and I thought I'd take this channel now together with Sherman, together with Defeng, together with Victor, as more of a backdrop to what Ben's doing on Blitz Mini's channel. So as we're going through a phase of building our army, I want to take you guys on that journey together with us. Our thought process, why we selected a few units, why we're building them this way, and maybe through that process learn a bit more. I don't know as much as I like about this game. In fact, I'm still getting my head around some of the phases of the game. The Wardhun chants are very confusing. I mean, not very confusing, but I don't know how to make use of it effectively yet. I think there's still so much room to learn, and maybe I can show you guys what we have. So at the present moment, we have we started off at 700 points. It's easy because you take it up from the battle box. It's almost about 700 points because you've got 2 characters in there. It's a starter box, so 2 characters in there and 3 units. And if I may, I'll just show you the box. So this is a starter. It's massive. It's got it's basically known as the Wardhun Warband. What you'll see inside are these boxes. So you'll have 3 boxes in there. You'll have a unit of a box that can make either hunters or make slingers. Now I've gone ahead and do hunters for my list because they're quite versatile, but I think I might eventually go pick up another maybe 1 or 3 boxes of slingers / hunters as well. The mainstay of your force would probably be your infantry troop. Like all armies I collect, I usually try to collect the most basic troop in multiples because they're useful, right? So you've got your I think these are the blooded. Yes, these are the blooded. So the blooded are somewhat a bit more elite version of the troops version. They arm with 2 weapons. They're pretty good going in and chopping. They have this rule called flurry, which allows them to reroll hits or misses, sorry. And then, of course, we've got a unit of Braves. Now, Braves are good because they have shields, making them a bit more resilient to attacks. That being said, their defense is only 3. Defense 2, but +1 because of shields. So that means I have to roll 1, 2, or 3. The success is inverse from normal games here. So instead of 3+, you're thinking of 3-. So you want to roll once. So the name of the channel now doesn't really make sense anymore. But it could be also seen as a way of me whinging or my opponent's whinging. Then you come with 2 characters, 2 resin miniatures. One is the Predator and one more is the Scion. Initially, I wasn't too keen on resin. I've had my fair share of experience with resin from different other brands, and they were difficult to deal with. But I have to give it to Parabellum Wargames. They have done an amazing job. These sculpts are detailed and just amazing. Let me just show you. Alright, I'm just going to show you my favorite miniature of the Wardhun line at the moment. It has to be the Predator. Just look at him. He is chunky, he is thick, with triple C's, and it just looks amazing. This is resin, mind you, and because the Wardhun is so big and chunky, I thought it'd be fantastic for me to learn painting with oils instead. So I usually run acrylics, but in this instance I really want to give oils a go, and the oils did fantastic for the skin. So this was the first miniature that I painted for the entire Wardhun line, and it was a bit of gamble because I went oils all in. So I basically painted his dreadlocks in oils, his bow quiver thingy in oils, everything in oil. So even all the little dangly bits across this predator. I still love this miniature. I could have probably done it a bit more justice if I had used acrylics for the other more detailed parts, but I still like it, and it was fun. And I have to give props to James Warple as well as Marco from the Marco Biscotti, I think, the Italian chap that always goes hello. I love his channel because he is all about efficiency. Now, after I finished the Predator, I then went on to do the Scion of Conquest. The Scion, I went for something a bit different, something a bit more paler, a bit more washed out, because I thought him being a magic user, you know, he's like my priest, and priests generally are cooked up in hallways studying, but he is green skin after all, so a bit more palish. You can see the oil's just doing good work here, and just flock getting in the way. But look at that blend. I could probably do that in maybe 5-10 minutes in oils, but it'll take me half an hour with acrylics. And then yeah, after you do it with oils, and I even did an non-metallic metal for all his weapons. So you can see here as well as here, that's non-metallic metals, and I have used oil all over this miniature. Granted, I have so much to learn about oils, in knowing what I know now, I would mix acrylics with oil. Now I've got something a little extra to show you guys. Now I have gone and done a little scenic base for my characters, and this is mostly for them, as they are not mounted on a traditional base, but they're mounted on something like this. So that looks pretty neat, huh? So it's like my predator is creating traps. He's going to go out, catch more dinosaurs, and then the narrative for this is, of course, the Scion of Conquest. He's about like death, and he wants to chase people. So he's got skulls. So those are the characters that come in the box. I'll just show you what else we've got in the box. Right, so the first box that I actually constructed and then built out was this unit of Braves. Now they're pretty unique. They're massive, and if you've noticed that I actually use oils on all their skins as well. Now the only catch here, and that's different from the characters, is that I've actually used acrylics on all other parts that are not skin. So if I just pop one of the models off, you'll see that I've actually used acrylics because it gives me a bit more accuracy when it comes down to painting areas that are not skin. So I like that. I think the combination, and this is something that I picked up from Marco from his channel, really helps me just get the army on the table. Now granted, these are not Golden Demon standards. They're by far nowhere near that, but it's still nice enough. From that 3 feet range, you'll still see very good range of colors. Now the initial crop of guys, basically they were a bit bland, and then I realized that just too much browns, and that's all you see, and a bit of green here popping here and there. So I added a bit of other colors like these turquoise, sea blue, and orange, because these are really good contrast colors that work quite well on the palette of green. So that's the first box. So as you guys can probably tell, I've been busy. So the amount of time that I've had, because I'm not editing videos, I've invested into painting these lovely thick boys. And this is the unit of Blooded. As you can see, they're beautiful, they're massive, and they're green. Now for this unit of Blooded, I've actually injected more colors. So you can see a whole heap more reds appearing in their armor. more blues, and then I even injected a bit of purple and a bit of black as well. And into their banners, you see reds and yellows and blues, and just a mix, because the way I see it is that these guys live quite close to dinosaurs. They probably have access to like dinosaur bones that they can decorate their stuff with, but at the same time they probably want to pick feathers and stuff like that off these dinosaur corpses and then decorate themselves. So this is a unit of Blooded. I went through them quite quickly, simply because I did all the skins and oils and then came back and just did all the fiddly bits in acrylics. So that seemed to work well. I'm going to show you another unit now. This one is a bit different. This is the third unit, and this one's known as the Hunters. So Hunters are pretty cool. They give me a bit of range support that I need for most of my units. And unfortunately, they're not very heavily armored. At most, they have leather armor. Again, I've used quite a bit of turquoise to just highlight feathers and stuff, just to indicate that these guys, they have the ability to, you know, pick all these bits. And this pole is just insane. Look at that amount of bone on that piece. So I like it. It was pleasure painting them. I've only shown you 2 trays because this tray is still being painted. And you can probably see that I've done all the skin in oils, but I haven't actually quite done all the detail bits. I usually use this new paste that is by Vallejo. It has helped me streamline my painting a little, because this paste here, called Brown Mud by Vallejo, it is in the brown color that is ideal for these basings. So I paint them directly on, that's the color, and then I highlight them all the way up to semi-bone white, and then that creates this thing, and then I just stick on these flock that helps, like, you know, create that semi, I guess, lush feel. I would love ferns, but I can't seem to find ferns online at a reasonable price. So that's the third unit, a unit of Hunters. And what I like to do maybe is to show you guys the list that I wrote for 700, and you guys let me know if it makes sense or doesn't. Right, so this is the list I've prepared. It's for, I mean, it became the go-to list for me quite a bit, only because it's limited mainly by the characters that I have in my box set as well as in my collection. I do try to play with what I have. So this was the initial army I came up with. You've got the Predator, you have the Hunters, he's in the unit of 3 trays of Hunters. The Sign of Conquest, he has the Supremacy abilities that comes default, and I gave him the Glaives of Iskurent, although most of the times I never realized I have to that on them. Then I had a unit of 4 trays of Braves and another 4 trays of Blooded. Now, those who are a bit more vigilant would have noticed that I only have 3 trays earlier that I showed you, but I actually bought another box, added 1 tray each, and expanded them out to 4 trays each. So the idea really was the Sign of Conquest. He would join the unit of Braves because the Sign of Conquest has a resolution of 4, whereas the Braves has a resolution of 2. Resolve, sorry. So that means that the Braves can really benefit off of the Sign of Conquest. Now, the bad thing about the Braves is that they have Bloodlust. That kind of reminds me of the Orcish, like, you know, you couldn't really control them from Warhammer Fantasy. Of course, the Blooded, they have Flurry and everything. So I gave them a Champion and Standard Bearer. I'm not too sure whether that was a good move, but this was the initial list that I played with, and it really is just meant to help me get my head around the charts as well as what works for the army. So I hope that gave you guys a good overview of what I've been doing over the past few months. Again, COVID has wrecked plans for a lot of us. We initially wanted to do a song event, and I thought that would have been good fun because there's a campaign going on, and then Conquest came into the picture. I'm splitting time between that. I have been not giving enough love to MCP or Legion recently, which both games and IPs I really love. But again, we're having a bit of difficulty getting some of the MCP stuff down here in Singapore. We're also struggling with some of the Legion stuff, like Anakin, for example. I understand it's worldwide sold out. But nonetheless, I'd like to use this channel really as a vlog, maybe to choreograph, to basically capture what the Able guys are doing, anything but one's guys are doing, putting together army, the challenges that we're facing. And Blitz Minis is currently running a fantastic promo. I definitely go and check it out. I think it's like anything above 400 Singapore dollars, which is 300-ish US dollars. It's like free shipping all over the world. That's fantastic. Parabellum Wargames, they have given us a bit of a fantasy vibe that's missing. Hint, hint. I love Total War, by the way. And they've simplified things a little, which helps make the game smoother, easier. I wouldn't say that it's the best game for a beginner coming into Wargame to learn. It's like, for example, my wife enjoys Song of Ice and Fire a little bit more because it's just a bit less technical. That's probably a good word to put. But, you know, from Song, you can then graduate into something like Conquest. Conquest is it is, to me at least, shaping up to be quite a deep game. I think there is space for these two games. On top of that, you also have your other skirmish games. You have your army level games like Legion. I really am looking forward to showing you guys more. Maybe I can show you the 1,000 points list. Once is a bit more tweaked. I played 1,000 point bad rap with Ben recently, and also maybe once I've done 1,200 points, I'd like to share my thoughts on where the army is at. And if you guys like, be happy to share that with you guys and go through that journey together too. All right, that's about it for me. I think Sherman's got a video coming up. Tiffany and Victor, as soon as they send across the videos, I can start editing them and then just sharing it with you guys. So again, it's like a community vlog, if anything. Hope you guys are staying safe out there. Till next time, bye.